is the first time that SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights. It is going to be 2 nights in a stadium show. Okay, so essentially it is now at the WrestleMania 11. If you were to tell me, okay, from WrestleMania that this is the card we were going to get, I'd be scratching my head a little. I'm still a little not sold into it. I'm still not that amped up for it. The builds, they're just not there. I'm hoping this show kind of changes my mind. I'm going to go with Kross, but if he loses, I can't help but think this is it. Do I give a damn about the social media influence between Paul or Jelly Roll and the jealousies? No. Pull the trigger. It's for Cargill. It's time. Gunther versus Punk. I really honestly don't want to see Punk win this. And I'll tell you why. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chris's Chaos. I am your host, Chris Cortez. Today we are going to do predictions for Night 1 of SummerSlam 2025. It'll be held August 2nd, 2025. And of course, Night 2 will be followed on August 3rd. And both nights will take place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Now, we will definitely focus in on Night 1 today, and that way I can watch SmackDown on Friday, or rather on Saturday, because of course I'm coming to you live from Germany, and so my time's a little bit different. And I think it very much plays a role on the predictions. You kind of have to see what happens on SmackDown to really get an understanding of everything that's going to take place. But I watched Monday Night Raw, this past Monday Night Raw, in order to get a better sense of what I think is going to happen for Night 1. And maybe we might touch a little bit about Night 2, but a lot is going to happen this weekend leading up to next week, not only obviously in the wrestling world, but on this channel. We're going to go ahead and do a predictions for Night 1. We're going to do predictions for Night 2. I will do a review of WWE SummerSlam, both Nights 1 and Nights 2 with Jonathan at Bad Guy Wrestling, if all goes well, and we're able to do the review on Monday. I'm hoping to also set up an interview with Doc Sports Services, Rafael Esparza. He is a specialist in betting consulting and sports booking consulting. The man has experience in this business, not only in the betting industry and sports, all kinds of sports, which we will touch upon further during the interview, but also seems to be playing a role in sports entertainment and pro wrestling. And I very much want to, kind of pick his brain and understand how sports betting is going to play a role, or is playing a role, in the WWE market in sports entertainment, and perhaps even into obviously other promotions such as AEW, TNA. Is going to break into the indies. Very curious. And maybe even talk a little bit about SummerSlam, discuss what maybe he thought of the show in terms of predictions and in terms of how he was able to influence or how he was able to provide services to such a show. So we'll hope that should all be taking place next week, the review and the interview, if all goes well. I also have to break into the G1 Climax. We are going to get a little bit deeper into the finals and, of course, the semifinals as the G1 gets a little bit closer to finishing. And yeah, so we have a lot going on. But for today, real quick, we're going to go ahead and get into the SummerSlam Night 1. Before we do that, please hit the like or subscribe button. And please make sure to feel free to add comments. Tell me what you think is going to happen on SummerSlam Night 1 and Night 2 for that matter. But let's get into it, because we got a lot going on here. It's been a busy summer, but we cannot overlook this show. This is the first time. I hope people can appreciate this. This is the first time that SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights. It is going to be 2 nights in a stadium show. Okay, so essentially it is now at the WrestleMania level. Of course, it's not WrestleMania. WrestleMania being that it is the kind of flag bearer, trendsetter of everything that's going on in WWE and the world of professional wrestling. So it is the biggest show you could possibly have in professional wrestling. That being said, SummerSlam is taking its place as the second largest show, period. It has been for a long time. It's kind of the half point of the year of the entertainment business, sports entertainment year. That being WrestleMania being kind of the end all be all, the starting point, the finishing point for all storylines, and kind of a culmination of how you might be able to grade that year. SummerSlam's it's the midterms. Okay? It is the break between the two semesters, if you will. So, that being said, it's definitely come a long way. It's had, what's ironic is that it's had glimpses of points where you could honestly say one SummerSlam was bigger than the WrestleMania. Easy example would be the SummerSlam, of course, that took place in the United Kingdom. This was 1992. And, of course, the main events, I'm going to say main events. Obviously, there was only one main event, the last match. But, of course, two big matches on the card was the WWE Championship being defended between Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. That they build that so big, and there's so many parts to it. And even Ric Flair, of course, that was his way of getting involved in the show without actually being in a match. Such a key part. And the other one, of course, was Bret the Hitman Hart versus the British Bulldog. Of course, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, being from the United Kingdom, is just a hometown hero in this regard. It couldn't have been bigger for him. And this was an opportunity, of course, to test Bret the Hitman Hart to see if he could hold his own at the main event level. And, of course, he did successfully. Really carried the match. If you really hear the story behind the British Bulldogs, what was going on with him in terms of physical and emotional, like readiness for preparedness for this match, Bret really does bring out the best in everybody. And I was in the United Kingdom the summer leading up to that show. My cousins had actually purchased tickets to that show. They were ramped up, ready to go. Essentially, they were about our ages, except British accents, but very much similar in appearance and, of course, hobby interests, clearly. They were very much amped up. They loved wrestlers like Ric Flair at a time that we were a little bit like still, my brother and I, we were kind of coming from America. We, of course, and being Hulkamaniacs, Macho Maniacs, somewhat fans of Ultimate Warrior at the time. Of course, his fan power had kind of died off. Him coming back brought it back up. And, of course, big fans of the British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart. They were fans of, it's almost as if the United Kingdom had a little bit, or at least my cousins for that matter, had a little more sophisticated viewpoints of wrestling, where the heels, they had already started. And this was, again, I was going into 5th grade. And already they had kind of established that the heels are kind of the ones you want to cheer on. The heels are more fun to watch, at least especially in Ric Flair. And they kind of impressed upon me that Ric Flair is so entertaining. And, you know, yes, if you're marking and if you're buying into it, the work, you hate Ric Flair, especially when you were younger and he was cheating to win and you had to be upset as a kid. But the older you got, the more mature you realize, this guy's awesome. He's great, and it's fun to watch him, and the heels are fun to watch, and kind of brought a new level to the enjoyment of the product. So, anyways, I digress. Really, what was interesting to me was how big this show was being prepared for the UK. They were ready for this one, and it was definitely bigger than WrestleMania 9, okay? Not only because of that kind of spoof ending with Hulk Hogan kind of winning the belt out of nowhere, which, again, as a child, you'd be amped up for it. If you were older, if you were a little bit older, if you were maybe not a fan of Hogan, you didn't buy into it, you were pretty upset. A lot of us were just happy to see him again and kind of be back in the scene, but not to take anything away from Bret the Hitman Hart. We were already buying into Bret Hart, honestly. We were very happy with Bret Hart. We were just also very happy to see Hogan. Some people were not. Some people were like, screw this. And honestly, it took an entire year's worth from WrestleMania 9 to WrestleMania 10 to get Bret really to that status of I am the guy. But this is prior. This is prior to that. This is really the build up to even give Bret Hart a chance to be able to carry the company. So big deal. This is definitely the biggest SummerSlam since then. Okay. There have been other big shows for the big four. I'm talking about the Royal Rumble and the Survivor Series, and of course WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Royal Rumble, there have been some big ones. Survivor Series still kind of lead like on the back burner. It's definitely number 4 in the books. At this point, we can say SummerSlam is number 2, Royal Rumble is number 3, and Survivor Series is number 4. I still love the Survivor Series. It might be tied for my favorite with the Royal Rumble in terms of, just personal favorite, but obviously WrestleMania is the biggest, and now clearly SummerSlam is taking on its status as that midterm big freaking show. So very exciting. And let's look at the card, because I am going to also question, is it going to stack up to WrestleMania status or being number 2? We'll see. I think there definitely the setback I would have to say is that Seth Rollins is injured and will not be able to perform at this SummerSlam. It's crucial that he's not there. That was a very big setback. I thought the work that they were doing, Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, then Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, it was magic for a while there, and now this it definitely took the wind from the sails. We still have some good stuff. I really was surprised to see Punk and Gunther. But again, this all goes back to Rollins not being in the picture, and just all kinds of key things that they had to move around to kind of get where we are at with this card. Not expecting it. If you were to tell me, okay, from WrestleMania that this is the card we were going to get, I'd be scratching my head a little. I would have to kind of really think about, how do you get to this? We have Sami Zayn, for instance, versus Karrion Kross. I've been waiting for Karrion Kross to really have something to sink his teeth into. I'm looking at the promo from this past Monday. I'm still a little not sold into it. I'm still not that amped up for it. The builds, they're just not there. I'm hoping this show kind of changes my mind. So what's going to happen is what I want to see is some great wrestling, some great work, some storytelling moments that kind of really set us, build us back up so we can get amped up for the end of the year and building up to Royal Rumble. You really have to think about this in a cyclical kind of form of way. You should already be thinking about WrestleMania, that next year's WrestleMania. You should right now at this moment should be hinting towards what's going to happen next year. Okay? You probably were doing that after WrestleMania 41, and now with the setback, particularly of Seth, he was clearly going to play a major role for Raw, and now he's gone. It kind of messes everything up. So we're going to see what happens. Let's look at some of these matches, and I want to see. The particular order, I'm really not sure. I've been looking at the different pages, the different predictions and or cards, and seeing like how are they going to set this up. I'm looking at it again. Okay, this one looks a little bit reasonable. Verifying it with other sources, I can definitely. CBS Sports is going to go ahead and give me at least the most reasonable looking card, where CM Punk is going to main event, and we're going to get a WWE Women's Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. We're going to get Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. We got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Judgment Day with Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Really not too much looking forward to that one, but let's see. And again, I kind of have to see what happens on SmackDown. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross. So let's start off with Kross versus Zayn. it really comes down to this. If Kross loses, it's pretty much the exact, like, it is the definitive moment in which WWE is telling you we are not putting in any investment into this guy, and he is about to be phased out, and he's about to lose his contract. Boom. Okay? If Zayn, because Zayn really is kind of trying to brush him off, so I would imagine Kross wins. I'm going to go with Kross. But if he loses, I can't help but think this is it. Like, it's it for Kross. He's come a long way in NXT, but he's come a long way down from NXT to where he is right now. It's, just amazing. Him and Scarlett were such a great pair, a great presentation. Everything looked good. They've kind of, put him in a place of nuance or a place of like obscurity and ambiguity that you don't want to be in. Okay. So I'm really kind of disappointed. I didn't invest too much in him anyway, but I enjoyed his time with NXT. I can say that. So, and at this point, they could just be feeding him to Zayn. Zayn's so primed for a main event title that it's just a matter of now we're just trying to keep him afloat because he's not on life support. He's still a main event player, fan favorite. But if you're not feeding him someone like Kross, then what the hell are we doing? But if he loses this, that would build Kross to they would develop a story and they'd have a rematch at a next PLE or on Raw. That's great. That's fine. But more than likely, I'm thinking Zayn will get a main event championship match, fall at maybe either Rumble or even WrestleMania. He's so due for a title. This guy is so due. It's kind of embarrassing that for the WWE that they have not put a title on him by now. But it's time. It's time. So I'm going to go with Kross. But I would not be surprised if Zayn wins. And if he wins, it's the end of Karrion Kross in the WWE, as far as I'm concerned. And I would love to be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Let's hope that this does not happen. But that's where I'm seeing. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Big stuff. Again, I saw Reigns come out. It's just a little bit kind of formulaic and recycled. Comes out, one of his people, one of the bloodlines, one of his cousins gets attacked. Crowd goes nuts. You get OTC, please come out and save the day. He comes out, very underwhelming, slow to walk. Oh, he's calculating. He's methodical, right? Your cousin's getting your ass kicked. You better run a little bit faster. But anyways, not that great. But of course, the ending on Raw kind of dictates perhaps what's going to happen on SummerSlam with Breakker and Reed just taking out Reigns and Uso that last night before the show suggests that yes, Reigns and Uso will endure and win this one. I think that's where we're going, and that's fine. This feud may continue, but the moment for SummerSlam belongs to Reigns and Uso. And what I'm hoping for is that we see a good match. Reigns needs to be strong. He's just kind of there right now. Same with Uso. So, Uso is former champ, but now what? Where do we go? So they need to win. They need to win a big one. This feud will continue, but I'm going to give it to Reigns and Uso. And then WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. You got Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Bliss and Flair. Again, honestly, I'm gonna even it's funny in WrestleMania I was expecting Flair to walk away with the title. You'd never bet against him, but against her. But I think we're past that point, which is great, but not quite past that point. Not quite past. There's still a toe in the sand, right? That is this let's hand a belt, a strap to Charlotte Flair. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and say Bliss and Flair win the titles. There's nothing else for them to do but be tag champions. So there you go. Perez and Rodriguez can do a number of things. They're still kind of up and coming, thriving. They're still very much involved in the growth process that will lead to singles titles. Bliss and Flair are way past their prime. They look great. They perform great. not taking away that. I'm talking about the prime of their arc, their story arc in their career. That's where they're past their prime. It's that. And this is not a bad thing. It just means that they're past the point of like really developing themselves. Now, I'm not to say that you can't redevelop yourself. I'm just not seeing it. There's nowhere else to go. Flair is always going to be Flair. She's not Chris Jericho, okay? She's not going to come back and do a whole new spiel, which we all love. No, Bliss is, what we'd like to see with Bliss is for her to go to the Wyatt Six and resume her, become Sister Abigail, if you will. But not even thinking about that much right now. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Bliss and Flair. It's just the next thing for them. Not to say that Rodriguez and Perez can still hold it. It's not like their whole spiel is tired out. Their whole run is over. It's stale. That's not the case. I'm just thinking, what else is there for Bliss and Flair to do? So there we go. Orton and Jelly Roll. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Thinking about this show, I'm really kind of curious. I'm not going to judge it yet, but I think a lot of people have to be already thinking, why take a spot away from a worker who is developed and putting the sights on Jelly Roll? Now, I'm not saying that's the question could be easily answered by maybe those who know Jelly Roll. And if you are a fan and if he draws, hey, I don't give a damn if he can't even work. I don't care if he can't even pull a headlock. If he's the big draw, then great. That's the reason. Great. Okay. Another question is, can he work? That's a big question. You always wonder, and especially back in the day, we used to wonder when a celebrity, like whether it was an athlete, a football player, whether it was someone famous, anyone that steps into the squared circle, the question I always really want to know is, one, can he work? Or can she work? If they can work, that makes all the difference. And it makes for a great episode, a great match, creates for a great moment, and it makes everything worth it. So I'm going to, reserve my judgment on this match because I really don't know much about Joe. Orton, McIntyre, Logan Paul even. He's in great hands. He's in great hands. So what's going to happen? Is he just going to throw a few punches? Okay. Where is this going to go from here? That's really what I'm curious about. Do I give a damn about the social media influence between Paul or Jelly Roll and the jealousies? No, not really. Not really at all. So that is kind of what's kind of taking me away from this match and making me think, why the hell am I even watching this? But I'm not. I'm still waiting. It all comes down to this match being successful. If they pull the if they follow through and we get a good match, I'll be the first one to say, you know what? Thank God they put in Jelly Roll, and what a unexpected, pleasant surprise that him joining it. Because I have no problem with celebrities getting into matches like this. I'm just again kind of coming from left field, not really too sure with it. That's fine. But remember, the card is tight. There's really only, you have 2 nights, so each card is about, 5-6 matches, okay? So that's kind of the thing. And you got to remember, this is, very competitive industry when you have so many wrestlers right now, and so much content just kind of filtering through. This is a card, this is a night that you want to be a part of. So people are very much vying for that spot. So we shall see. Now, who's going to win? Got to give it to, all bets point to Jelly Roll and Orton. They're kind of, Jelly Roll is the guest in this thing. So you kind of have to make sure he needs a face. So you kind of have to see to it that, and of course we're dealing with Orton, kind of wants a good moment. He's already on it, again, he's not far from John Cena, and it's been one of his last years. So this would be a moment for him, right? So I'm definitely giving it to Orton and Jelly Roll. There you go. Women's Championship, the WWE Women's Championship, Stratton versus Cargill. And again, another one that I have to wonder, I have to see what's going to happen on SmackDown to really get an understanding. So I'm going to go ahead and definitely pull the trigger. It's for Cargill. It's time. I said it that she was improving back in WrestleMania. And I think it seems like it's the natural progression, the time for Stratton to kind of drop the title. She successfully defended at WrestleMania. She needs to drop it to Cargill. It's definitely, it's time. So there you go. Cargill's been built up. She defeated Asuka. What do you want me to say? She's beaten Trish Stratus. Stratton rather beat Trish Stratus. So it's just kind of Stratton's successfully defended against someone like Stratus. She's defended Flair, Stratus. She's established. Good for her. Now it's time to hand it off to Cargill, and maybe they can have it back and forth. We can a little hot potato just a little bit this title. So I got to say the women's divisions are looking really good. When you look at all the talent that's up there, especially when I was watching Monday Night Raw, and you had that 8-woman tag match. Again, nothing special in terms of the match. We used to have these matches like this all the time throughout the Attitude Era. It was just a way to showcase who we got, right? Who we have on the roster. And if you look at one of those teams, you got Io Sky, right? You have Rhea Ripley, right? Of course, Nikki Bella. And I'm still trying to remember her name. Girl with the horns. Excellent look. She is so cool. I'm gonna get chewed out. What the hell, Chris? How do you not remember her name? You clearly haven't been watching enough. No, not really. It's just I'm still kind of getting used to the players throughout the roster, and she's really cool. Got to go back and get her. I'm gonna come back on the next video and be like, oh, that was her name. I'll look it up, and she's so cool. You know who I'm talking about. And there's just a lot of great talent. That's just on Raw. Then on the other side, you got people like Stratton, you got Cargill, you got Asuka. That's Trish Stratus. I mean, the women's roster is becoming stacked. These are just the top key players. Not to mention, Bailey. I mean, who's kind of not so much in the scene right now, but there's just a lot of talent. So I'm very, impressed with that. Oh, not to mention the Intercontinental Championship match, the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. You got Becky Lynch. It's a lot. It's great. Lyra Valkyrie. Gosh, I mean, there's so much talent that I have to keep up with this. But yeah, time for Cargill to get a title already. It's so time. Gunther versus Punk. All right, this is a big one. I really honestly don't want to see Punk win this, and I'll tell you why. Punk, two things. Gunther, number one, he more than recently just won this title. I don't need to see him drop it again. He just regained it. Two, this is just, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know, but I really was hoping to see him win. I really feel like we need to kind of get to a point where it's Punk versus Cena. I don't know why they didn't pull the trigger on that. I get it. Maybe rehashing an old feud is not the way to go. Maybe it's about building new talent. Okay. But that being said, kind of goes back to my point that Gunther kind of needs to win this. Unless we plan to see Punk win, hold the title till WrestleMania, only to drop it to someone else. I mean, again, no. If anything, maybe he loses this one, wins it at Survivor Series, or wins somewhere between now and Survivor Series, holds it for a little while, then drops the title. Great. But I don't see the time to pull the trigger for this. And it could happen. And obviously, would I be unhappy if CM Punk wins a singles main event championship? Hell no. I'm not gonna worry about that. but I kind of want to, my gut is going to Gunther. Yeah. I'm thinking Gunther's going to win this one. So, yeah. All right. So that is really the predictions for night one and night two. Oh, sorry, just night one. And I think it's going to be fun. This card on the surface, it looks a little unbalanced, but it has the potential. It definitely has the potential. It's tight, six matches. You know, the night one, you don't have the expectations are not as high, so it just offers opportunity for you to be pleasantly surprised, be impressed, and I definitely can see that happening. A couple factors. And otherwise, you're gonna. I almost can certainly see great matches between Gunther and Punk, Cargill and Stratton, as well as something like. I mean, those, and it would make sense for those to be the last matches. Those would be great if they end, and if they succeed, they pull off what they need to do. But if that doesn't happen, this whole card still is just one big build up to those two matches, and then basically the card is a letdown. But if the majority of the card is a success, like 4 out of the 6 matches, 4 of the other matches step up, in addition to the 2 main, championship matches doing well, that is a success. I.e., Orton and Jelly Roll put on a hell of a show with McIntyre and Logan Paul. They do everything they need to do, and Jelly Roll maybe impresses, or he kind of keeps out of the way just enough to kind of make and have his little spots, just enough to make this an entertaining match. If it's bland, if it's formulaic, if it's just a recycle or a rehash of any other celebrity match we've ever watched, we're not going to be happy. The Judgment Day versus Bliss and Flair. Again, if they have an intense physical matchup and they do the best, all these people can perform. And if they do what they need to do, you'll have a nice little match. A match go maybe 10, 15 minutes. Great. Reigns and Uso, if they bring it, and Breaker and Bronson Reed bring it, you're going to get a hell of a match, almost like a street fight. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be intense. So all the possibility there. Of course, Zayn and Kross. It could be the sleeper match. It could be the match that sets the whole tone for this event. And it could be like a solid B+ match, okay? Easily. I could be an A match. I'm saying you got a guy like Sami Zayn who can work with everybody and pull out a great match. Karrion Kross, I think, is just a guy who can actually have great matches, especially if he's with the right people. I wouldn't say he's the ring general, obviously not, but he's got the intensity, he's got the tools, the look, he's got everything he needs to make a good match, and he's with a guy who can lead to a good match. There is no reason why that match shouldn't do well. There's no reason. So honestly, this card should perform. Maybe not on the surface, but when you tear it apart and you analyze this thing, you look closely, this should be a good night. And if it's not, that's a problem. Okay? And fortunately, there's a lot of ways in which this could go bad. All right? On any given night, something here could happen. I'm not like counting on some of these matches to do what I just said, but they definitely have the potential to. Unfortunately, I'm very familiar through experience with some of these matches and some of the workers to see like, okay, it could just land flat. So that being said, that's that. Night 2, I'm gonna do a little bit of, maybe give you like 5 or 10 minutes of glimpses. I mean, obviously John Cena, Cody Rhodes. I'm looking forward to that match. Street fight. Anytime Cody Rhodes is in a street fight, he puts on a good show. Okay? Just go back to his days. AEW. Okay? He would have dog collar matches that just, were so brutal. He's a good storyteller in the ring. That's one of his best qualities. And a street fight is a great way to tell a story. To have good moments. That match is going to be awesome. If it isn't, what's the biggest disappointment of the weekend? And you can go ahead and say SummerSlam was just a utter failure. A lot of saying on that match. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I have a lot of faith in that match. Women's World Championship, Naomi, Sky, Rhea Ripley, all the makings for a good match. Naomi, I saw her on one of her promos on Raw. It's a little over the top, but that's kind of where we're going with her gimmick. So I'm okay with it. But yeah, let's see what happens. No doubt about it, though, they'll put on a great match. Okay? Lynch versus Valkyria. All the makings for a good, all good workers. There's no doubt. Becky can go. Lyra can go. We have a good match. Again, this could be the moment to pull the trigger and drop the title to Cody Rhodes, just going back. But again, I still have to kind of see what happens on SmackDown. I'm not against Naomi just retaining the title. Usually when it comes to triple threats, on big cards, I tend to see the champion retain. So I can see Naomi retaining. But again, I got to go back to SmackDown. Lynch, Valkyria, I could see Lynch dropping. So she could go on to bigger things. It's just it's a mid-card title. Definitely see it dropping. But that's where I'm going. Again, SmackDown. Fatu's got to win this. This steel cage match, another brutal match. Fatu's got to win this one. Again, we'll see what happens on Friday. Dominic Mysterio versus Styles. After seeing everything I saw on Raw, I can confidently say that Mysterio, Dirty Dom, will retain. Okay? Styles has no need for the Intercontinental Championship right now. He has no need. He's not going to pull okay, let's have an open challenge and let's just mid-card it. He doesn't need it. We really don't need to see it. Meanwhile, Mysterio is having the reign of his life. Okay, and this guy is being built up. Going to give it to Mysterio. We're going to see a great match. Wyatt Six versus Street Profits versus Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, Andrade. Geez, TLC match, right? I really have no idea. I could see Andrade. I can see Motor City Machine Guns. They're definitely due to win this. Let's watch SmackDown and see what happens. That's why I told you it would be kind of fuzzy. I'm not sure until I see SmackDown. And I won't even be able to see it till Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning. So, but Styles and Mysterio. But look at this card. Night 2, I can already say it's just looking at this card. So much experience, and just so much dependability here. I'm not trying to discredit and say, well, they're not dependable on night 1. No, they're very much dependable. But just look at the people we just named off. You got to believe that they're going to pull off a great card, a great night. So I'm definitely looking forward to night 2. I'm looking forward to both nights, but night 2 is going to be epic in terms of now that being said, it has the higher expectation. So there you go. But we'll see what happens. Okay. I'll try to do one more preview. Maybe a quick one on Saturday. Just after I watch it, the SmackDown. And if I can get to watch it Friday night, great. I'll try to do a quick Saturday review. And when I say Saturday, meaning it will show up on your YouTube feeds Saturday morning prior to the first night 1. So I'll do one more, maybe a quick one, just to go over, kind of reinforce what I said about nights 1 and 2. And we'll get into it. Now, what's interesting, one more thing before we close off, we're getting to the 40-minute mark. What's interesting about these 2-night cards is that night 1 can also play a role into night 2. Something happens on night 1, it almost gives you an idea of what's going to happen in night 2. It just sets it up. Just a perfect, easy example, of course, was when The Rock and Roman Reigns defeated Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. You knew now, okay, the card, the odds are even more against Cody Rhodes, and that's why he has to win. It only secures it. Now, that's the most obvious one, but just to let you know, if Cody had won, if Cody and Rollins had won that tag match, there would have been a good idea that be a pretty good odds would go against Cody Rhodes. And Roman Reigns would have won. Okay, so that also plays a role. Who knows? Maybe if I have time, I might even drop a couple shorts in and be like quick 10-minute, episodes. It's a good time for the summer for wrestling. I know there's like highs and lows, and this is definitely, we're on the verge of a high for the wrestling year. Okay, and on that note, please hit the like or subscribe button at Channel Cortez 33. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time. And I'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Enjoy SummerSlam. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.